Here we go. Solving big problems with blockchain, AI, and Internet of Things. I'm the CEO of Token Communities, and today I'm going to be talking about two companies. I'm an advisor to Verity and Veridium. So I'm pushing this. Great. So two big problems. The first one is food poisoning. Causes 600 million people to get sick every year. It's almost 10% of all the 7.7 billion people in the world. And it also causes 420,000 deaths, including 125,000 deaths for children under 5. Adenovirus, Campylobacter, Salmonella, E. coli are some of these things. So what can the blockchain do? Also, there's this emission bubble, and this is keeping us from achieving most of the goals, the Sustainable Development Goals. Almost all of them are affected by global warming and heat waves and loss of crops. My next book is called Food Security, and it basically is talking about how we're going to have a 30 trillion calorie deficit and mass starvation because of these heat waves are going to destroy a lot of crops. What can we do about that? Also, food scarcity. We're going to need to produce as much food in the next 35 years as we produced in all of human existence, and we're going to basically have to take an area the size of South America to do it just for agriculture. And also, another problem of scarcity is we don't have enough Earths. We're basically consuming the annual equivalent of 1.7 times Earth's capacity, and if the current population consumption rates continue, by 2019, we're going to need 3 Earths to satisfy our demand for natural resources. So, big problems need big partners, and one reason I chose these two companies to talk about solving big problems is they're both partners of IBM, which has 400,000 employees in 170 countries, 80 billion in revenue, and is very serious about the blockchain and now calls it IBM Blockchain. So the first thing is Verity ensures food safety. They've basically been working on this for 10 years, and they use artificial intelligence, blockchain, and Internet of Things. And they have a platform called Verity One that tracks and traces and authenticates and validates all the product and marketing claims, including sustainability, anti-pollution, vaccine effectiveness. 83% of food that people claim is organic actually isn't organic. It's faked. So they're actually going to be setting up a whole fleet of drones to go and do soil samples and see if it's real or not. The core technologies that they use are IoT. They basically have these little tiny devices that can go on cows or packs of cigarettes to connect and exchange data, and integrating that with real-world systems. AI. To enable multi-layered understanding of unstructured data, and also look and see whether the data collected is real or not, and blockchain to register and document all the transactions and have it be immutable. So these 3 things together are used in all the systems that Verity does. And there are 4 levels at which you can integrate IoT with AI and blockchain. The first is monitoring, the second is control, the third is optimization, the fourth is autonomy. And so Verity is now in the process of buying a company that makes an operating system for drones so that multiple drones can have it in a drone directory, because drones are a big part of this whole thing. Here's an example of very simple tracking. They basically have a product that they charge $1 per cow per month, so they'll be setting up millions of cows for this. They can count the steps for the cows, they can see the body temperature of the cows, and also check on the status of the batteries and see where the cow is. They can test weather, and you can also use it to gather data for smart farming. You can see how much carbon dioxide there is in the air, what the temperature is, what the humidity, what the hay level, what the water level is. All these things can be done together, and you can basically see the big picture of everything. So basically the idea is to track food from the day the calf is born until the time that it arrives as a steak on your plate. Veridium is using this whole ecosystem of many companies, and all the money that is going to Veridium is going to be used to plant trees in neighboring Indonesia. So it's in Kalimantan. And what they're doing to reduce carbon, which is the major source of global warming, is to offset it through 2 different coins. One is called Verde, and the other is carbon. And the idea is, what if the producers of carbon, like the oil companies, were 80% powered by fossil fuels, what if producers and consumers can mitigate environmental impact at the point of consumption? And so they've sold over $50 million worth of carbon credits to very large corporations, and now the idea is to streamline the whole process, a process that doubles the cost of carbon credits to companies, and basically do it through these 2 tokens. And so the idea is that they're making the first tokenized carbon credit commodities exchange that'll work with both spot and futures. So when people buy this, they get two coins. One is carbon, which is backed by a basket of carbon credits, and VERDE, which is a utility token that can go up and down. It returns 100% of the value immediately in the sense of having that much in carbon credits, while also giving an upside through the tokens. So the carbon token is an asset-backed commodity token where one token equals 1 ton of carbon offset credits from a basket of projects, and there'll be 2.5 million of them. And then every 100 VERDE tokens receive 1 carbon tokens. And it basically is backed by different underlying commodities that are purchased from companies that go and plant these trees. And a VERDE token is the utility token. It has a finite number, it has 600 million, and they'll be created and offered only in this and used for their exchange and used for smart transactions. So this results in 3 solutions for carbon markets: a tokenized carbon market that creates a liquid fungible carbon credit, making integration to all kinds of supply chains, and also is like a digital warehouse receipt that's redeemable for a basket of things where they're trying to basically constantly have all of the world's carbon output be tokenized. Also a Veridium exchange that has a liquid market, and having basically traders go and try to trade this just like when traders are trading crypto today. The idea is to use this to make it more expensive to produce carbon and make it more profitable to reduce carbon. And VERDE token is the base currency for all the trading pairs. And finally, eco-smart transactions. The idea with this is that you just go to charge things on a credit card, and while you're doing that, you have a choice of paying a little tiny bit extra every time you buy something that has more carbon, and it offsets all the carbon that you do. So you can have consumers choose to make one choice using this card, and then they offset all their carbon during the year. So what's the end result of this? Basically, with $10,000 worth of carbon in VERDE, you save 3,484 tons of waste that's recycled instead of landfill. Or for $100,000, you save 11.25 million gallons of the equivalent of carbon from gasoline. Or for $1 million, you save all the carbon produced in producing electricity for 150,000 homes. And for the full amount they're trying to raise, 100 million, it would be the equivalent of saving 817,000 acres of forest from being turned into farmland. So I thank you for your time, and I look forward, if you want to solve big problems using blockchain, feel free to come and exchange cards with me. Thank you.